I'm just living the dream, Anna. Oh, how I wish this could last forever.
Olaf wanted things to stay the same, and you promised him they would. But that was one tough promise to keep, Anna, because everything changes eventually. We knew you were a hero, Anna, but you really saved the day in Frozen 2. If it hadn't been for you, the spirits would still be enraged by your grandfather's actions. You kept on going when things got rough and continued to do the next right thing. Elsa's lucky to have a sister like you. We loved every second of Frozen 2. It was funny, emotional, and everything we thought it would be and more. But through all the glitz and glamour, we spotted some easy-to-miss Easter eggs, jokes, and observations that we're about to share with you. But we should warn you, this video is jam-packed with spoilers. Watch until the end to find out what really happened to Elsa after she froze, and why she chose to abdicate the throne. The spirits will do anything for peace. The Frozen franchise just wouldn't be the same without Olaf, the adorable snowman who likes warm hugs and long walks on the beach. We loved all the humor he brought to the table, so we couldn't help but hold our breath when Olaf got lost in the enchanted forest only to be chased by the elemental spirits. With Elsa's help, Anna finally found out what caused the spirits to form a mist around the forest and threaten Arendelle's sanctity. As it turns out, Agnar's father was to blame for the fight that broke out between the Northuldra tribe and the Arendelle soldiers. And since the spirits do not like violence, they chose to retaliate. But if the spirits hate violence that much, why were they hell-bent on harming poor little Olaf? He must have dodged dozens of fatal blows throughout his adorable solo When I'm Older. These spirits were out to get Olaf, and if it hadn't been for his remarkable self-rebuilding skills, Olaf would have been lost for good. The Tarzan Theory. Ever since the first Frozen film hit the big screen in 2013, fans have been convinced that Elsa and Anna have a long-lost brother named Tarzan, who was born after King Agnar and Queen Iduna washed up on a deserted island. The Tarzan theory seemed so plausible that it was even endorsed by Frozen co-director Chris Buck. But after watching Frozen 2, we can officially say that this theory has been debunked. As it turns out, Elsa and Anna's parents did indeed pass away when their ship capsized in the Nordic Sea. Elsa felt responsible for her parents' demise, but Anna did her best to console her. King Agnar and Queen Iduna were on a quest to find out where Elsa's powers came from and whether they could be used to take down the fog. So unlike popular belief, Agnar and Iduna were not on their way to Rapunzel's wedding when their ship went down. Do you still believe in the Tarzan theory? If so, tell us why in the comments. The new Danish author.
Kristoff, can I borrow your wagon? And Sven?
Frozen 2 finally gave us some insight on Elsa and Anna's mom, Queen Iduna. We knew that King Agnar was the descendant of Arendelle royalty, but Iduna's past was a big question mark. Thanks to the sequel, we finally know that Iduna grew up in the Enchanted Forest where she was a proud member of the Northuldra tribe. Iduna chose to go against her people and save the young prince of Arendelle. She escaped through the fog just in time to return Agnar to his people and was forced to live out the rest of her days in Arendelle. Do you remember the scene where young Agnar is reading a book under a tree and she pops down to inquire about what he's reading? Agnar says he's reading a story by the new Danish author. And while the king's answer is a direct reference to Hans Christian Andersen, the famous Danish writer responsible for inspiring the Frozen franchise. Hans Christian Andersen was born in the 1800s, which is when the Frozen movies take place. Did you catch this reference? Tell us in the comments. Kristoff's heritage. Kristoff has always been the odd one out.
Meet my family. Hey guys.
They're rocks.
He talks to rocks about his feelings and voices his reindeer Sven's thoughts without ever hearing him speak a word. Kristoff had always felt like a reject until he found his fiery princess Anna. But it wasn't until Kristoff met Ryder that he found out that his love for Sven was somewhat normal. Ryder has a deep connection with reindeers, going as far as to lend them his voice, just like Kristoff. Ryder and Kristoff immediately hit it off. Ryder even helped Kristoff propose to Anna in the total Northuldran fashion. So we were wondering, did Kristoff's parents also belong to the Northuldra tribe? It's very possible considering how similar they are. And if Iduna made it out of the forest before the fog barrier came crashing down, it is possible that others did too. Whatever the case may be, Kristoff definitely has found his first human best friend in Ryder. The Parents' Letter. Fans first came across Old Norse language in the original Frozen film, when King Agnar flipped through a Nordic book to find out how to save his daughter Anna, and in Frozen 2, we once again come across a series of strange symbols in the letter Anna found in her parents' ship. Fans were curious to find out what the letter said. However, Elsa and Anna discarded the letter once they read what their mother had written at the top left of the page. We don't have the deciphered text just yet, but we can tell you what fans think this letter is hinting at. According to some eagle-eyed fans, this letter sets up the events for Frozen 3. Yes, that's right. Some viewers are convinced that a third and final installment to the Frozen franchise is imminent. If Frozen 3 does happen, what do you think it'll be about? Before we reveal what really happened to Elsa after she froze solid, we want to make sure that you'll be the first to watch our latest Frozen videos. So subscribe to The Things if you haven't already, and be sure to hit that notification bell. If you're watching on your phone, go on YouTube settings and turn on those notifications. Now, let's get back to business. Elsa's powers. The most exciting thing about Frozen 2 was finding out the truth about Elsa's powers.
I am worried for her. We have always feared Elsa's powers were too much for this world.
The people of Arendelle had always been scared of magic, which is why King Agnar's father chose to betray the North Uldra tribe. So it makes perfect sense that Agnar wanted to keep Elsa's powers a secret, especially since his people blamed magic for what happened in the Enchanted Lands. But unlike the North Uldra tribe, Elsa can wield her own ice magic instead of borrowing it from the elemental spirits. In Frozen 2, we find out that Elsa's powers were a gift given by the spirits. As it turns out, the spirits saw what Iduna did for Agnar amongst the chaos of the king's betrayal, and they approved of her selfless deed. So they rewarded the couple's firstborn with the magical spirit of the fifth element. So while Elsa spent her entire life viewing her powers as a curse, it turns out they were a gift. Bye-bye, Anna and Olaf. Olaf is a happy-go-lucky snowman. He's filled with love and awe and happiness. But in Frozen 2, Elsa did something that made Olaf feel anger for the first time. She pushed Anna and Olaf away, putting them in an ice canoe and sending them as far as the eye could see. Elsa did this to keep them safe, but her hasty actions put them in harm's way. Because of what Elsa did, Anna and Olaf came this close to waking up the stone giants and getting crushed by them. Clearly, the stone giants meant business and would have done anything to stomp out all the life from the forest. So while Elsa was trying to protect her sister, her actions almost got her killed. Anna is not powerless. Whether Anna likes to admit it or not, she grew up in her sister's shadow. Not only was Elsa born first, making her the true heir of Arendelle, but she also has magical powers, whereas Anna does not. Many of us believed that Anna would discover powers of her own in Frozen 2. After all, she had all the makings of a wonderful fire princess. But as Olaf so blatantly put it, Anna is powerless. Did you see the look on her face when that word came out of Olaf's mouth? She was totally stunned by his harshness. While Anna doesn't technically have powers, she isn't powerless, and she's proven that time and time again. She risked her own life to right her grandfather's wrongs, and she used every ounce of her willpower to get the deed done. Elsa may have saved Arendelle, but it was Anna who brought peace back to her kingdom. Elsa isn't alive anymore. Elsa never wanted to be the queen of Arendelle. She always felt different and yearned for adventure. Grandpappy warned Anna and Elsa might go too far, and that's exactly what she did. Anna said it herself. Her sister gave her life to find out the truth. Frozen fans are debating whether or not Elsa is still alive. After all, it wasn't like Elsa froze in time. She literally passed away, which is why Olaf faded from existence. Elsa unfreezes once Anna takes down the bridge, but some fans are convinced that she's only alive in spirit. After Elsa unfreezes, she completely transforms. Her hair gets whiter, and so do her clothes, making her look a little ghostly. And shortly after she unfreezes, Elsa chooses to abdicate the throne, making Anna the queen of Arendelle. Anna said it herself, there are two sides to every bridge, and their mother had two daughters. So is Anna on the living side of the bridge while Elsa is on the spirit side? Anything is possible, but believe it or not, there is a perk to Elsa living on in spirit form. Olaf will live forever. There wasn't a dry eye in the theater when Anna gave Olaf his last warm hug. But what was even more devastating was realizing that Olaf could not exist without Elsa. But now that Elsa is a spirit, she can live on forever. So that means that Olaf will live forever too.
Oh, no, don't shoot. You don't know what I stepped in.
We loved how Frozen 2 ended. Anna will make one fantastic queen, and Kristoff will make King Agnar proud. What did you think about the sequel? Do you believe in the ELSA'S spirit theory, or do you think she came back to life when she unfroze? Sound off in the comments. Give this video a big thumbs up if you like warm hugs. Thanks for watching. See you next time.